Ever feel like the world's holding its breath, like something BG is just around the corner, and most folks are completely missing the signs? June 30th, 2025 mark that date, not because the sky will fall, but because it's a checkpoint, a moment that will starkly divide those who are truly awake from those just going through the motions. God's message, everything shifts on June 30, wasn't some casual remark for a headline. It wasn't to scare you or get you hyped. It was a profound truth, whispered for those who've learned to listen past the world's deafening roar. You know what it's like. Every single day, you're bombarded. Be this, fear that, buy this, chase that. It's a relentless tug of war for your attention, pulling you away from the only journey that truly matters, the one deep inside yourself. So many are desperately scanning the horizon for a thunderclap, a blazing sign, something impossible to ignore. But sometimes, the most powerful messages from the divine aren't shouted. They're breathed into the quiet spaces between your thoughts, when everything else finally goes silent. That whisper before the inevitable storm, it's not a threat, it's a lifeline. But only those who've trained their inner ear, their very soul, to recognize the frequency of truth will grasp what's being offered. You don't hear this kind of whisper with your ears, you feel it with your entire being, with a sharpened awareness. To catch it, you've got to clear out the internal clutter, the noise, the fear, the ego, the endless wanting. Why will so many miss the profound weight of June 30th? Because they're too busy hunting for the answers they want to hear, instead of preparing themselves to receive what is true. Think about it. When your cup is already overflowing with your own opinions, how can wisdom pour in? When you're fixated on your expectations, you'll be blind to the unexpected gift. This is precisely why the ancient masters, the sages, the disciplined warriors, all trained in profound stillness. They knew only in that inner emptiness can divine truth truly anchor itself. There's a silent, internal prep work that has to happen. Just like a mighty oak gathers strength through the harsh winter for its spring rebirth, your spirit must undergo its own quiet readying for that moment of profound shift. Many imagine change arrives like a sudden lightning strike. But genuine transformation, the kind that reshapes your very essence, starts long before you see any cracks on the surface. It begins when you start heeding those subtle nudges from within, when your old habits begin to feel off, when your thoughts find a new clarity, when you consciously choose inner peace over endless drama, disciplined action over lazy comfort, focused awareness over constant distraction. These aren't just random mood swings, these are the tremors indicating your inner world is recalibrating to a deeper, cosmic call. And what is that call? It's the quiet, unwavering voice of your destiny, urging you get ready, align yourself, purify your intentions. It doesn't scream because shouting is for the untrained mind. Whispers are for the soul that is truly worthy. When a true martial arts master trains, they're not seeking applause or validation. They're silently owning themselves for a test no one else even knows is on the horizon. Your spiritual journey is no different. You are being meticulously prepared for a fundamental shift, and this shift won't send out press releases. It won't beg for your attention. It won't ask your permission. It will simply arrive. And when it does, it won't favor the loudest or the most arrogant. It will elevate those who are truly prepared. Consider a concert violinist who has dedicated years to their craft, practicing hour after painstaking hour in solitude. The moment they step onto the stage, the audience marvels at their talent. But what remains unseen are those countless years of silent, devoted mastery. The same holds true for your soul. When June 30th dawns, the world will look around, bewildered, wondering why some individuals seem to navigate the changes with profound clarity, unshakable peace, and quiet strength, while others crumble into confusion, raw fear, and bitter frustration. The answer is disarmingly simple. Those who heard and heeded the whisper before the storm were already walking their path of truth. They didn't need the world to sound an alarm. They had already awakened themselves. The world loves to wait for irrefutable proof before it believes anything. But the spiritual path isn't about passive waiting, it's about active becoming. If you're perpetually waiting for signs, you'll never be the sign. God doesn't deliver a message for you to simply sit on your hands. He delivers it so you will rise, so you will act, so you will strip away the false selves, the toxic attachments, the misguided ambitions. That whisper before the storm is a profound act of divine mercy. It's the chance to prepare before the shift becomes undeniably visible to all. You don't need the sky to fall to start believing. You only need to feel that insistent pull in your soul and have the courage to follow it. This is why silence is so incredibly sacred, not merely because it's quiet, but because it allows you to perceive what the ordinary, distracted ear can never hear. Some truths can only be received by a heart that has learned to be still. And so, your training isn't about how loud you can proclaim your beliefs, but how deeply, how attentively you can listen. You must ask yourself, when the world screams its opinions, do you instantly react, or do you pause and reflect? When fear rears its head, do you bolt, or do you breathe through it? When the crowd surges in one direction, do you blindly follow, or do you stand firm, still your mind, and ask why? Those who have heard the whisper understand that life isn't about knee-jerk reactions, it's about wise, centered responses. But you cannot respond with genuine wisdom if you haven't first trained yourself in the sanctuary of silence. So many live in a state of constant reactivity. Their emotions are the puppet master, their fears are the blindfold, their attachments are the chains. And when the storm finally hits, they're thrown into utter panic, crying out, "Why didn't anyone warn me this was coming?" But the truth is, God did speak, He whispered, and they were simply too caught up in the noise to hear. Discipline, true discipline, is the art of sharpening your awareness. It's not about self-punishment, it's about cultivating crystal clarity. A warrior trains daily not because battle is a certainty, but because readiness is a fundamental way of life. If you wait until the world is visibly falling apart to begin preparing your spirit, you've waited far too long. Your preparation starts now, in how you greet the morning, how you speak to others, how you invest your precious time, how you consciously choose your thoughts. These actions may seem small, insignificant even, but they are the very bricks and mortar of your inner temple. And when the winds of profound change begin to blow, only those temples built on a foundation of unshakable truth will remain standing. The whisper before the storm also serves as a potent test of humility. Many believe they're ready simply because they've accumulated knowledge, but knowledge without consistent practice is just another form of arrogance. You might be able to recite countless teachings, but are you truly living them? You might speak eloquently of wisdom, but do you walk your path with unwavering integrity? The whisper isn't delivered to the intellect, it's received by the spirit, and the spirit can only embrace what it is humble enough to truly carry. You must release that insatiable need to be seen, that burning desire to always be right, that deep-seated craving for praise. All of these are just more noise, and noise invariably drowns out the quiet voice of truth. When June 30th arrives, the world will witness what has long been concealed. But those who have diligently trained in silence will not be taken by surprise. They will not descend into panic. They will simply take a deep centering breath and continue walking their path. Why? Because their direction isn't dictated by fluctuating outer signs, but by steadfast inner alignment. Their strength doesn't stem from a false sense of certainty, but from unwavering discipline. Their peace doesn't come from the absence of external problems, but from the undeniable presence of inner purpose. And this, ultimately, is what the whisper has always been about: purpose. The divine doesn't call you for mere entertainment, it calls you for profound elevation. But elevation requires that you courageously let go of whatever no longer serves your highest good. Many are clamoring for change while desperately clinging to what is old and familiar. They yearn for transformation but stubbornly refuse to surrender their comfort zones. You simply cannot rise if you're still clutching onto what weighs you down. The whisper is an invitation to release the fear, the guilt, the shame, the outdated story you keep telling yourself. Only then can you become light enough to truly ascend. So, listen not merely with your ears, but with the full capacity of your spirit. Look not just with your physical eyes, but with the keen vision of your awareness. Walk not by what you can see, but by the unerring compass of your alignment. If you feel that deep internal pull, that undeniable sense that something profound is shifting, that something immense is on the verge of being revealed, do not dismiss it. Do not procrastinate. Begin your work now. Return to your breath. Return to your discipline. Return to your truth. The whisper before the storm isn't something you chase externally, it's something you become internally. And those who become it will not fear the storm, they will walk through it as if it were nothing more than a gentle breeze, because they have already been carried, sustained, and guided by a far greater wind, the unstoppable wind of the divine. True preparation doesn't kick in when the world finally acknowledges the danger, it begins the moment your soul senses the subtle shift in the currents. And what the untrained eye completely fails to see, the trained spirit has already intimately felt. There's a vast difference between simply reacting to life's events and consciously aligning with life's unfolding. When a person lives in reaction, they're perpetually a step behind, always scrambling for stability, always bewildered when change inevitably arrives. But when a person lives in alignment, they are never truly caught off guard. They may not know all the specifics, but they've already been forewarned through their intuition, through their dreams, through that persistent inner restlessness. That unease you might have been feeling, that growing sense that something significant is approaching, something vast, something beyond your immediate control. That isn't just anxiety, that is your preparation kicking in. That is your spirit whispering it's time. Get ready, what unfolds on 30th 2025 isn't some random, spontaneous occurrence, it's a convergence, a powerful confluence of energies, consequences, undeniable truths, and profound revelations that have been steadily building for years, even decades. The world may react as if it were a sudden shock, but the wise understand that this shift has been in motion for a very long time. The spiritual laws of the universe are never ever delayed. Every choice you've made, every intention you've set, every action you've repeated has been meticulously recorded. The universe has never been asleep. You may not have consciously seen the cosmic balance adjusting, but it has always been balancing, and the scales inevitably tip on these sacred pivotal days. Not because God desires to punish, but because the immutable laws must be fulfilled. What you plant, you will inevitably harvest. What you tolerate, you ultimately become. What you genuinely prepare for, you will undoubtedly survive and even thrive through. Preparation isn't a one-time event, it's a dedicated lifestyle. The individuals who stand spiritually strong on June 30th won't be those who abruptly wake up that morning and suddenly decide to change their lives. It will be those who have been steadfastly walking the long, often unseen, path of dedicated inner work. Those who have been diligently disciplining their thoughts when no one was watching. Those who chose kindness even when the world around them was harsh. Those who fiercely held on to their inner light when the encroaching darkness offered seductive comfort. These are the souls who have been preparing, not because they were paralyzed by fear of something, but because they simply knew. They knew, deep in their core, that when the wind shifts dramatically, you must already have your feet firmly planted. You cannot be fumbling to learn how to stand while the full force of the storm is already upon you. You must already be unshakably grounded. And how do you truly prepare? Not by frantically accumulating more things, but by courageously releasing them. Not by desperately building thicker outer walls, but by diligently strengthening your resilient inner core. Many are caught in the collective rush. They chase after wealth, fleeting relationships, social status, external recognition. But what is the genuine, lasting value of these things? When the very vibration of the planet begins to rise, what will you do with your collection of trophies if your own spirit feels leaden and heavy? You cannot outrun spiritual gravity. When the earth itself ascends, only those with hearts lightened by truth and forgiveness will rise with it. You must consciously let go of bitterness, of deep-seated resentment, of unhealed, festering pain. This is the essential preparation. This is the profound cleansing. Because when the energetic veil finally lifts, and it absolutely will, everything that was once hidden will become glaringly visible. You cannot fake inner peace. You cannot fake true discipline. You cannot pretend to be in alignment. On that day, your energy, your very essence, will speak far louder than any words you could ever utter. The world will react, it always does. It reacts to sensational headlines. It reacts to perceived crisis. It reacts viscerally to fear. But the spirit, the awakened spirit, does not react, the spirit prepares. The spirit understands that divine timing isn't dictated by the hands of a clock, but by the resonance of souls. When God declared that everything changes, He wasn't referring to your personal schedule. He was referring to your soul's unique, unfolding timeline. There are seasons in your life that you don't consciously choose. They choose you. And this upcoming season, make no mistake, is not one for idle dreaming. It is one for decisive doing. It is not for the mind that merely wishes, it is for the soul that resolutely moves. You must confront yourself with these questions. Am I still clinging to excuses? Am I still waiting for someone else's permission? Am I still stubbornly arguing with undeniable truth? Because the time for prolonged questioning has definitively passed. The time for committed action is unequivocally now. Preparation will look different for each individual. For some it will mean finally, courageously choosing profound stillness over constant, draining stimulation. For others, it will mean bravely facing the deep pain they've long buried. For some, it's about decisively cutting the energetic cords with people and situations that have been relentlessly draining their life force. For others still, it's about extending forgiveness for what once seemed absolutely unforgivable. These are not insignificant acts, these are profound revolutions within your own being. These are the crucial steps that build the kind of resilient inner world that does not crumble when the outer world inevitably begins to shift. And it will shift. Not to frighten you, not to break you, but to ultimately reveal you. Because all things that have been hidden, suppressed, or denied will inevitably rise to the surface. And when that great unveiling occurs, you will clearly see two distinct types of people: those who are utterly terrified by the raw truth, and those who have diligently trained themselves in that very truth. When a seed is planted in the earth, it doesn't cry out for sunlight, it inherently trusts that its growth is an integral part of the natural cycle. It doesn't resist the embrace of the soil, it accepts the darkness because it knows, deep within its being, that the light is inevitably coming. In precisely the same way, your own preparation has likely been unfolding in quiet, unseen ways. Maybe you haven't been able to fully articulate why you've been feeling different. Maybe your habits have been subtly changing without conscious effort. Maybe you've inexplicably lost interest in shallow conversations and superficial dramas. Maybe you found yourself naturally withdrawing from excessive noise, needless conflict, and pointless negativity. This is not mere coincidence, this is profound spiritual alignment. This is the deeper, wiser part of you instinctively responding to the approaching change. It's as if your soul is already methodically packing its bags for a momentous journey your rational mind doesn't yet fully comprehend. And that's perfectly okay. Let your soul lead the way, allow your mind to humbly follow. Many will attempt to cram their preparation into the very last moment. They will frantically rush to consume spiritual teachings, desperately try to fix deeply ingrained broken habits, and anxiously scramble to feel a sense of safety. But you cannot rush true alignment. You cannot microwave spiritual mastery. You cannot download genuine discipline. These qualities are forged slowly, deliberately, over considerable time, through consistent effort. And if you have already embarked upon this path, even if you feel you are far from perfect, understand this crucial truth: you are already ahead of the coming wave. Keep walking, keep building, keep refining, because the vibrant, elevated energy of the new world cannot be carried by a self that stubbornly refuses to evolve. The impending shift is not interested in who you pretend to be, it is only and utterly interested in who you truly are. And that core truth of your being is either gloriously free or it remains tragically trapped. The preparation is, in essence, the sacred act of setting it free. Every true warrior meticulously sharpens his sword long before any battle, not driven by fear, but by a profound sense of honor and duty. The spiritual warrior doesn't wait for glaring signs to get serious about their inner work. They strive to be always ready, not because they desire conflict, but because genuine, lasting peace requires unshakable inner strength. On June 30th, the delicate balance of inner strength and profound peace will be rigorously tested. Those who possess no true inner peace will be utterly overwhelmed by the sheer intensity of the energy. Those who have cultivated no real inner strength will be paralyzed by the dizzying speed of the unfolding change. And so, you must train now. Train your thoughts to effortlessly hold stillness. Train your emotions to respond with inherent grace. Train your body to willingly carry the mantle of discipline. Train your spirit to implicitly trust the unseen guidance. Let go of the illusion that you have endless time. Time is never promised, but the power of presence is always available, and in true presence, all things become possible. Your future is not idly waiting for you to wish it into existence, it is actively waiting for you to act it into reality. You do not need to achieve some mythical state of perfection. You need only to be fully, authentically present. And from that sacred space of presence, you must consciously build the habits that consistently nourish your vital energy, build the healthy boundaries that diligently protect your precious peace, build the personal rituals that purposefully awaken your higher awareness. These are the very bricks that form the unshakable foundation you will stand upon when everything around you begins to shift. And what of those who deliberately ignore the call? What of those who openly mock the gentle whisper? Who dismissively say, nothing significant will happen, it's just another ordinary day? These are the very ones who will be profoundly shocked, not because they weren't adequately warned, but because they stubbornly refused to listen. Denial does not shield you from the truth, it only tragically delays your essential preparation. And when truth finally arrives, it doesn't politely ask if you are ready, it simply, unequivocally shows itself. If you have diligently trained, you will perceive it as a wise teacher. If you have not, you will experience it as a terrifying threat. This is not some arbitrary threat from God, it is the direct, unavoidable result of your own persistent resistance. So, prepare not in a state of fear, but with a heart full of reverence. Prepare not because you believe disaster is imminent, but because a profound awakening is indeed coming. Prepare not for the world's panicked reaction, but for your own soul's magnificent expansion. There is an extraordinary beauty that graces you when you are truly ready. There is an incredible power that activates within you when you genuinely align. There is a profound peace that settles deep within you when you completely surrender. And this peace, this true, unshakable peace, is not found amidst the clamor and it is discovered in your consistent practice, in your conscious breathing, in your cultivated stillness, in your sacred silence. Do not look to the chaotic outer world for signs of safety or security. True safety is not out there, It resides steadfastly within your own inner world. It is revealed in how you respond to chaos with calm. It is evident in how you treat others when no one is watching your actions. It is forged in the courageous decisions you make when it would be far easier to remain comfortably asleep. Every single step you take today meticulously builds your capacity to respond to tomorrow's inevitable test. Every moment you consciously choose to rise in discipline diligently prepares you to rise in resonant energy. Every time you courageously say no to what depletes and drains you, you are simultaneously saying a powerful yes to what truly prepares you. There are fundamentally two ways to meet the energies of June 30: with bewildered surprise or with grounded certainty. The first path inevitably leads to widespread confusion. The second path culminates in profound clarity. And clarity, true clarity, doesn't come from attempting to guess the future. It arises from meticulously preparing your present moment awareness. The energy of that pivotal day is already steadily approaching. The spiritual current is undeniably building. You may not perceive it with your physical eyes, but your attuned spirit can most certainly feel it. Honor that subtle, persistent feeling. Do not attempt to numb it. Do not distract yourself from its wisdom. Allow it to gently lead you to your personal training ground. Let it pull you ever deeper into your sacred practice. Let it serve as a constant reminder. What you diligently do in the sacredness of silence is never ever wasted. It is stored, it is remembered, it is multiplied. And when the world around you begins to inevitably shake, you will not, because you were not passively waiting for the world to tell you what was coming. You had already actively begun your preparation. You were not merely reacting, you were profoundly ready. You were not desperately seeking safety, you were already standing firmly within it. There's a deep misunderstanding in our modern world about how genuine transformation truly occurs. Many mistakenly believe that simply wanting change is sufficient, that setting lofty intentions is enough, that declaring ambitious goals, meticulously writing them down, and diligently repeating affirmations, that all of this somehow magically obligates the universe to comply. But the sacred, immutable laws of existence do not bow to mere intention, they bow, always and only, to true alignment. Energy does not follow what you idly wish for, it follows, with unwavering precision, who you authentically are. When God proclaimed that everything changes on June 30, 2025, it wasn't a message directed at those who merely hope, it was a clear signal to those who have diligently aligned themselves with truth, in their thoughts, in their words, and most importantly, in their consistent actions. The critical mistake so many make is assuming that the clarity of their desire automatically equates to the readiness of their being. But the universe, the divine intelligence, the Tao, call it what you will, it listens not to your superficial wishes, but to the actual vibration you consistently carry. You can earnestly want peace yet continue to live in a self-created chaos. You can desperately want abundance yet habitually walk in the shadows of fear. You can passionately want transformation but stubbornly refuse the necessary discipline. This is the fundamental disconnection. This is precisely why the subtle whisper of God is only truly received by those whose daily habits, internal dialogues, and unspoken, underlying intentions are harmonized into one coherent. That resonant frequency is not found in intellectual thinking alone. It is discovered and cultivated through unwavering alignment. Alignment isn't about pretending. It's not about trying to act spiritual. It's not about the elaborate external rituals you might perform for others to see. True alignment is largely invisible to the outside world, but absolutely undeniable to the universe. You cannot trick energy, you cannot fake resonance. You either vibrate at the level of authentic truth, or you simply don't. And when that potent energetic portal fully opens on June 30, 2025, it will not care one iota what you intended to become. It will only and powerfully amplify what you already are. That is the great, unyielding spiritual truth. Energy amplifies alignment, not mere words. Your personal energy field will be the ultimate key. The inherent quality of your inner life will be the definitive measure. This is why genuine preparation isn't about speaking more eloquently. It is about becoming more authentically. If you claim you want peace but you continually choose conflict, you are fundamentally misaligned. If you assert you are ready for true abundance but you persistently live in a mindset of scarcity, you are misaligned. If you proudly declare yourself a light worker, but you habitually engage in gossip, complaining, and harboring resentment, you are profoundly misaligned. These are not trivial matters, these are significant spiritual fractures, and when a flood of divine energy inundates the planet, it actively seeks coherence. It inherently rewards those who are whole. It naturally promotes those who are truly honest. Not necessarily perfect, but deeply, courageously honest. The world often celebrates the loud, the overtly ambitious, the flawlessly polished exterior. But the divine, in its infinite wisdom, elevates the sincere, the genuinely aligned, the quietly, consistently disciplined. There is a sacred, inviolable equation at work here. Your thoughts, plus your words, plus your actions, inevitably equal your overall vibration. If your thoughts declare, "I trust," but your words are consistently filled with doubt and your actions are hesitant and fearful, your resulting vibration is one of confusion. If your thoughts proclaim, "I am ready," but your words are defensive and your actions are impulsive and reactive, your vibration is one of dissonance. And no matter how frequently you repeat your intentions, no matter how beautifully you inscribe them on paper, if your very being is fractured and inconsistent, your energy will remain stubbornly out of tune with the incoming energetic shift. And when an energy field does not match the prevailing current, it is by necessity left behind. The planet isn't just changing intellectually or politically, it is rising vibrationally. The transformations that are coming are not designed to favor the merely clever or cunning, they will unequivocally favor the truly aligned. This is why so many individuals who appear impeccably prepared on an external level will find themselves utterly overwhelmed, while those who have quietly, diligently done the essential inner work will rise with an astonishing grace and resilience. There is a profound speed to spiritual energy that only the truly still heart can adequately hold. There is a frequency so exquisitely high that only the genuinely humble can effectively tune into it. And on June 30th, when this divine frequency intensifies, your level of personal alignment will not be something you can suddenly edit, manipulate, or control. It will be starkly, undeniably revealed. Many will experience this as an intense, almost unbearable pressure. They will feel completely exposed. Because when the vibration of pure truth rises, anything false, anything inauthentic is forcibly and often painfully brought to the surface. This is the ultimate divine test. And it is not based on outward performance but on inner purity. It will not ask how many spiritual books you managed to read. It will ask, did you consistently apply what you learned in your daily life? It will not inquire about how many followers you managed to gain. It will ask, how many times did you remain fiercely loyal to truth when no one else was watching? It will not be concerned with how loud your voice was. It will ask, how profoundly still was your mind? Alignment is quiet, almost imperceptible, but its effects are nothing short of seismic. There are three foundational pillars that build true, lasting alignment: unwavering integrity, consistent discipline, and profound surrender. Integrity means you live in accordance with your deepest truth, even when doing so costs you comfort or popularity. You confidently say no to what betrays your soul, even if it might please others in the short term. You keep your word not just to others but, crucially, to yourself. Discipline means you consistently do what truly needs to be done, not merely what feels good or easy in the moment. You rise early when your body craves more sleep. You consciously breathe through rising anger instead of impulsively reacting. You diligently train your emotions, your focus, and your energy on a daily basis. And surrender means you willingly release the illusion of control, not out of weakness, but out of a deep, abiding trust in a higher wisdom. You stop desperately trying to manipulate outcomes. You cease trying to force your personal timing onto the universe. You consciously align with the divine flow and courageously walk with it, even when it doesn't make logical sense to your rational mind. Most people attempt to force energy. They try to hustle and strive their way into higher states of being. But force invariably creates friction and resistance. Genuine flow, on the other hand, creates harmony and ease. You must learn to become the open, receptive space through which divine energy can flow freely and powerfully. You must actively work to remove the blockages, the ego's demands, the persistent fears, the lingering resentments, the corrosive habit of comparison, the gnawing impatience. These things constrict your natural vibration, and when the fundamental frequency of the world shifts, constricted energy inevitably collapses under the pressure. But when you are in true alignment, you are like a perfectly crafted flute, hollow of ego, pure in your deepest intention, and perfectly ready to be played by the sacred breath of the divine. There is a sacred, meticulous timing unfolding across the cosmos. And just as a tree bursts into bloom only at its divinely appointed season, so too does the human soul. But you cannot rush your own blooming. You must diligently, patiently water your roots. Your roots are your daily discipline. Your roots are your moments of profound silence. Your roots are the countless small choices you make in the unseen, quiet moments of your life. What you consistently do when no one is watching ultimately determines your readiness for when everyone is watching. And on June 30th, the divine light will not only shine on the earth, it will shine through you, revealing your inner state, or it will starkly expose your lack of preparation. There will be no comfortable middle ground. Energy does not tolerate half-truths or inconsistencies. It either flows unimpeded through crystal clarity, or it grinds to a halt at the point of distortion. That is why this very moment, this precious now, is your sacred training ground. Not tomorrow, not when you finally feel ready. No, Because the spiritual law is elegantly simple, you inevitably rise to the level of your genuine alignment, not merely to the level of your desires. You receive blessings and opportunities according to your diligent preparation, not merely according to your eloquent declarations. And you will ultimately be tested not by what you say you believe, but by who you have authentically, consistently become. You must ask yourself, with brutal honesty, have I truly become the kind of person who can responsibly carry this next level of truth, power, and sacred responsibility? Or am I still passively hoping the external world will magically change while I remain stubbornly, comfortably the same? You are not waiting for divine energy. Divine energy is patiently waiting for you. The sacred current of life has always been flowing ceaselessly. The crucial question is, can you actually hold it? Are you a worthy, prepared container, or are you still unconsciously leaking your precious power through unexamined habits, scattered attention, and knee-jerk emotional reactivity? Your capacity to hold and channel energy is the true measure of your spiritual maturity. And spiritual maturity is not about chronological age, it is about profound awareness, about taking radical accountability for your life, about consciously choosing evolution over ego, again and again and again, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. On June 30th, the divine pulse of the planet will tangibly intensify. Some individuals will rise effortlessly because their internal energetic structure is strong and coherent. Others will shake uncontrollably because their foundation was precariously built on illusion and denial. You must diligently build your inner temple now, not with bricks and mortar, but with conscious breath, not with abstract theories, but with consistent grounded actions. You must thoroughly clean the windows of your mind. You must diligently sweep the floors of your soul. You must courageously open wide the doors of your heart to allow the pure light to flood in. Because energy, sacred, divine, and undeniably real, does not and cannot enter into chaos, it enters into divine order. Not the rigid order of oppressive control, but the flowing, harmonious order of true alignment. This profound alignment requires unflinching honesty, a brutal, yet deeply loving honesty with yourself. You must courageously look at every aspect of your life and ask, where am I still demonstrably out of tune with truth? Where am I still pretending, even to myself? Where am I still consistently choosing fleeting comfort over genuine, lasting growth? The answers will not always be pleasant or easy to face, but they will ultimately set you profoundly free. You cannot heal what you persistently deny. You cannot align with what you stubbornly refuse to confront. But when you do, when you finally see yourself clearly with all your imperfections, and love yourself deeply enough to commit to real change, the entire universe subtly, yet powerfully, shifts in your favor. Not because it is arbitrarily rewarding you, but because you have finally, authentically, become resonant with its natural, harmonious rhythm. And this is the final, crucial key. Alignment is not some static state you achieve once and for all. It is something you consciously, actively return to again and again and again. Each moment presents a fresh chance to return. Each breath is a sacred doorway back to presence. Each choice is a precious opportunity to fine-tune yourself like a delicate, sacred instrument. And just like a finely crafted stringed instrument, you don't tune it once and then simply forget about it. You must lovingly, meticulously tune it daily, with dedicated care, with focused attention, with heightened awareness. Because the music you ultimately play, the very life you live, depends entirely on your consistent conscious tuning. When that sacred day arrives, the world will not change you. It will merely and profoundly reveal you. The flood of incoming energy will not magically create your alignment. It will simply powerfully magnify it. And so the most important, most vital work you can possibly do is not to passively hope, not to anxiously fear, but to actively, consciously align, not in abstract theory, but in daily grounded practice. Not for external applause, but for internal truth. Not to impress others, but to authentically express your soul. Not from a place of fear of the future, but from a place of deep reverence for the sacred power of the present moment. Because in the end, it will not be your carefully crafted goals that carry you safely through the storm. It will be your unshakable groundedness. It will be your profound silence. It will be your unwavering alignment.